Welcome to Business Authority Radio, bringing you insights from today's thought leaders, professionals, and influencers. With your hosts, Neil Howe and Craig Williams.
Welcome to another episode of Business Authority Radio. This has been a long-awaited interview. As we stated earlier, it's been about 2 years for this interview. The applesauce is getting to me now, Germaine. But we have best-selling author, philanthropist, entrepreneur, mentor, investor, strategist. I'll just say strategist. We won't add any more to that. And world changer, Germaine Moody. Welcome to Business Authority Radio.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Craig, your host. I forgot about me announcing myself, but hey.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And we're just going to go right in. Here at Business Authority Radio, we talk with subject matter experts all the time. But we really get to the why. We talk about the how and what, but we want to get to the why for our audience and our listeners. But today we're going to deal a little bit with the why, with the what and the how you do what you do. You have a number of incredible works. I love the 50 Seeds of Greatness, so make sure you go get a copy of that. He's got this single, successful, and sleepy. I don't know anything about that. I'm going on 25 years of marriage, even though there's been times when it seemed as though I was single. And that's something that happens to us all. And I think it's the time where we need to focus inward instead of outward. But Germaine, tell me a little bit about what brought you to the place you're at, and what drives you.
What brought me to the place where I'm at?
And I'm not talking about this hotel room.
I've always had a desire to just, if you want me to go all the way back.
Of course, we've got time.
All the way back, it started with Michael Jackson. It started with the inspiration from Michael to help heal the world. And that was just imparted to me from him. And as I got older, I realized I had a knack for business and entrepreneurship. I had a huge passion. So I made a decision to become an entrepreneur and to use that platform to carry on and help heal the world as well. So I would say Michael Jackson is, I owe it to Michael for inspiring me to do what I do. But as far as my work ethic and stuff like that, that comes from my mom. And as far as why I do it, it's just, I believe I was put here to do it.
Awesome. So you work in media. You have done for a number of years. You also work with the Black professionals worldwide. This music awards that you've been working with for some time. How did you get in? Obviously, you said it earlier, Michael Jackson. So you have a background. You're a singer, a musician, or?
Actually, yeah. I started as a singer. I still sing, but I don't actually do it professionally. I'm also a music producer and a choreographer. Yeah, the music is I think probably my first love. Mm-hmm. My first love, and I'll probably be able to work on some next year. But it did start with the music.
That's where we're related.
Really?
The music, but we'll talk about that off the air. The Millionaire DNA.
Oh yeah.
One of your books, The Millionaire DNA.
Coming out next year, yeah.
Tell me about this. We've heard of Millionaire Mind. Yeah. We've heard a number of those. The Millionaire Mindset. But this DNA, is it more on the basis of like eat for your type, your blood type of thing, or does it define who's going to be a millionaire and who's not going to be one?
I think as far as what I did with the research, what I'm doing with the research, I'm interviewing over 100 millionaires around the world, and there are certain characteristics, there are certain attributes, there's certain disciplines, certain work ethic, that I'm learning from all of them. So what I'm doing, I'm taking those core values, those similarities, and sharing it with the world in the book.
Awesome. He's going to be on number 95 after our interview. But stay tuned, folks. Anyways, that's supposed to be a joke. I was going to be the guy. We'll turn the mic. But anyways, tell me about your first entrepreneurial venture.
Oh my God.
And what behooved you to have another? Because entrepreneurship, it sounds sexy now, but entrepreneurship is it's a hard life.
It is the craziest thing you can ever do, but it's the most rewarding thing.
Awesome.
I think we started our first business when we were like 7 years old. We used to produce puppet shows on the front porch and sell popcorn and lemonade.
Wow.
That was 7. And then I think when I got older, when I got my first job, which I worked at KFC, I started Germaine Moody Productions, I believe. And I was playing for banquets and weddings. And I think my first check was for $325. And that's when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this is working. And I started playing for more and more banquets and events and weddings and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I would work 4 weeks at KFC and make a check for $325, and then I played for 30 minutes at a wedding and made a check for $325. I'm like, I like that better.
Yeah, time. You talk about that too, and just about everything I've listened or read about you. You always mention the value of time, the most precious commodity we all have, and even the time we're spending right now, we're investing into something that will outlive us. I mean, in the digital world now, everything's on demand, but it's also there until you're gone and after you're gone. Absolutely. So what you're saying and what you're putting down for others to come after us, how it was told when we were growing up, write it down, make it plain, so those come after you can run with it. They're not going to have too much of an excuse these days. I mean, we had to knock our heads up against the wall, and yes, they're going to have to as well, those who come after us, but they get to have video and audio.
They got it made. They really got it made.
They can learn from our mistakes.
There's no excuse for not being successful
exactly.
in this day and age. It really isn't.
So tell me, I mean, obviously what I've learned about most mentors is that they had good mentors.
Right.
And I'm sure that's what inspired you to do that. But you did more than say that you're a mentor. You created an environment for others to come and be mentored.
Right.
Tell me about some of those stories of mentorship that you experienced growing up.
Well, I've always been, I've been mostly a loner all my life, but I've been reading all of my life. And I read to this day. I'm constantly studying the greats, the greatest leaders that have ever lived, some of the most successful people in the world, the wealthiest people in the world, those that were guided by a higher power. Those are people that just inspire me. So my mentors, several of my mentors I haven't met.
Wow.
But they've inspired me to just do what I'm doing today. So I think it's really important. A lot of people can't be mentored by who they want to be mentored, but a lot of mentors, they put out videos, they put out books, and you really got to feed into what they put out.
Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, it was almost like, the boardrooms or the masterminds he would have was more of a virtual one.
Yeah.
And I think, it's not that the imagination is completely gone because we have so many tools. I know growing up, one day we did have a TV and then we didn't for whatever reason. We'll talk about that offline too as well. But it forced me to take a deep dive into reading. That was an environment that I thank God for and thank my mother for creating an environment of creativity and innovation by I knew what an encyclopedia, the value of an encyclopedia, and look forward to the next volume of an encyclopedia and read through the dictionary. And,
so important.
And, fed myself. And, when it came to what was on last night when I got to school, I just listened a lot in the first 2-3 periods, and I could recite back in the last 3 periods what everybody else saw, and it was like I'd seen it too. So, and I had a great imagination, but reading is very, very fundamental in growth, in personal growth. And when you have access to what we have access to and what we've had, I mean, there's always been libraries just about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if there wasn't a library, there were the wives' tales or the storytellers in your village or community that could share that with you. So once again, we're taking away all the excuses from those who come behind us. The greatness is just, it's within arm's reach for all of us. And when I say greatness, I'm not talking about riches and just material things, but there's greatness in having experiences that you can't put a price on. You can't buy some of the experiences that we've had.
Yeah,
in our lives.
You gain a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom. You just got to pay attention.
Yeah.
To what's going on. You got to
have your head up and not down in that little screen in your hand.
You can't just go through the experience. You got to observe as you go through it.
Be present. Be present.
Absolutely.
Be present. So tell me what you would tell a 10-year. I usually wait till the end of the conversation, but I've got some other digging I want to do before we get there. But what would you tell a 10-year younger Germaine? They say that 10,000 hours makes you pretty much an expert, or you've heard those types. And so I equate spending about 1,000 hours a year, and that's being real lazy. 1,000 hours a year, over 10 years, you better be an expert in something. But just tell me what you would tell a 10-year younger Germaine Moody.
10-year younger. I would read more.
Do you do audiobook? Does that count as well?
Everything. 10-year younger, I would study way more than I have. That would be the main thing. Looking for mentors, studying, getting as much knowledge and wisdom, and trying to surround myself around people who are already doing what I want to do. That's exactly what I would tell Germaine.
Okay.
Get more books, pay more attention to what's going on, read as much as you can, and work 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Well, I'll get with you on that one. I call it play now.
Okay.
And they say when you're doing what you love, you never work a day in your life.
I don't believe that.
But I think it's an effort, because when we think of work, we think more in industrial, but work the mind. You talked about working your attention skills, just working that, I can't remember who it was. I see her, but I can't remember. She said she lost everything. She knows she'd go to this part of town and sit in a coffee shop and listen. Just sit there and listen to the conversation of those around her. And I think with we do a lot of listening now, but what is it that we're listening to?
Exactly.
I think that's
key.
And is it all opinion? Nothing, everybody's got an opinion, and sometimes opinions can spark something in you.
Yeah.
But are you just listening to talking heads, or are you listening to other stories this day and age?
Value,
yeah, something that we can learn from. It's the experiences. We do business, and you'll hear, if you're around me any length of time, you hear me say this all the time. We do business with those people we know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And how do we trust someone in business? Yes, we can like somebody by what they have on, how they behave in our presence. But the longer they're with us, the more is revealed of who they are. And do we still like them as much 10 minutes ago as we do now, or 10 hours ago?
I think spending more time with people that builds trust. The more you communicate. I've been chatting with some new business partners, and we finally met today, and I just think that actually increased the trust. So I think the more communication, the more time you spend with people, the more you show how you truly want to assist them, and not just take from them or receive from them. That builds trust.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the things that you've assisted business owners with?
Oh man, everything from from marketing strategies, from the name of their company to referrals. I've done everything.
Is there a particular engagement? I mean, when you think about, you hear about marketers all the time, SEO strategists and all that. We're talking about Germaine Moody right now.
Okay.
An engagement, a typical engagement with you. I mean, you don't just happen across. Once again, earlier you all heard me. It took me close to 2 years to get this interview. But you don't just happen across a Germaine Moody. What's a usual engagement? What is that experience like for most of your clients?
It depends. I think most of my clients are referred from someone else. It's not as easy as it used to be, because things haven't. My to-do list has increased.
Yeah.
So my time has my time is limited. So most of my clients right now are referred through my network, through people who already know me, because you have a lot of people who want assistance, and then when you assist them, they don't do what you encourage them to do or advise them to do. So I'm really strict on it. But as far as what is it like, we'll start off with a phone call, and I'll learn more about them, and I give them the truth. Mm-hmm. Because not every idea needs to be a business. Mm-hmm. And not everybody is a great singer or great this or great that. So the first thing you got to do is give people the truth.
Gotcha.
And from there, I just tell them what I would do in their situation. And that's it. They go for it.
Gotcha. Let's go back to some of your books. The 50 Seeds of Greatness.
Yes.
That's one where you did some interviewing in that one, didn't you?
I sent out a question around the world, and 106 countries responded. And that question was, what does greatness mean to you? And I sent that out to entrepreneurs, business executives, multimillionaires, billionaires, everybody. Mm-hmm. And they responded, and they, we included it in the book. Yeah. And it's still phenomenal to this day.
It's that style of, getting feedback. A lot of times when we're writing these books, and most people, if they see 50 Seeds of Greatness, oh, what does he have to tell me? And it was really, you had the wisdom to reach out. And
the entire world teaches you. In
exactly. Book. And that's what life does.
Like, if you want to know what greatness means, you want the world to tell you. Yeah. And the world tells you in this book. There's no other explanation.
Share with me the top 3 or 4 that hit you like a ton of bricks.
It was resounding around the world. Most of the responses in every country talked about how important it is to help other people. Mm. The entire world agreed that in order to be great, you have to help make somebody else greater. Yeah. And that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. Serving. I mean, if you're going to be it says to be the least of these.
Exactly. I have a quote that says, people ask me what type of business am I in? And, I'm in a lot of different businesses, a lot of different industries. But I realize right now I'm in the business of making people greater.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Servant leadership.
Yeah.
Servant leadership. We're related there. We're definitely related there. Yes, we're 2 African Americans, and the Business Authority is not about a race; it's about all mankind. But you do have this initiative, the power of a black man. Share with me the impetus of that. I mean, really,
well, I think the more as a black man here in America, I think the more successful you become, the more you see the need for opportunity for other people. And when I was in school, I didn't learn all the different things that black men or black people have contributed to the world. Mm-hmm. Not just America, not just Dr. Martin Luther King, not just Harriet Tubman, but the creators, the inventors, the presidents, the leaders, So that's what this book is about. This book is pretty much for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to share what I didn't learn and what I know now. And it is actually very inspirational to me because it makes me feel better about the huge global things I'm doing, that I'm not like out here on a limb.
Yeah.
Because so many people have, come before me. But that book is just to share what black men have contributed to the world and to inspire other black men to change the world at the same time.
The Latimer side of the light story.
Yeah.
We all know about Edison, but not too many people know about Mr. Latimer. And he was very instrumental in the light.
That book is so important.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have over 2,000 black men in every country where we can find a black man be a part of the book.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think the more we know of each other, I mean, we have a lot of the right now the press is, we're covering a lot of this Confederate issue.
Yeah.
That's been, and yes, it's a part of history. It's very important that we understand all parts of history, not just one side. And one of the reasons why I think we're having the frustration now, those who feel they want this type of flag or, is because there's only been one side of the story been told, and it's not enough of the other stories that surround it.
Yeah.
And so the frustration of that story always being told, we've conditioned ourselves to think that's the only side. Mm-hmm. And I can understand where they're coming from when they feel that, oh, my history is being low. So you're a part of that history. So it's very important that you continue to represent what you feel needs to be important. So, but you have to consider others as well. Right. Some who never got a flag up, but was a part of the foundation of even that flag. Right. That you're arguing about being taken down. So I think it's very important that we all educate each other on others' history, so that we can respect. I learned at a late age that, understanding is one thing. Being kind is another thing. Nice, anybody can be nice. That's the person. I mean, the waiter is nice because they want a tip. There's conditions behind that. Mm-hmm. Showing respect is just a second look. Mm. Just considering, again, your audience. Right. And I think the more we can respect ourselves, and that's another thing you talked about, why you're so driven to show more of who you are as an African American so that others can see. Because now we have more platforms to share the story, so it doesn't take 50, 60, 70 years to hear about a Latimer. Oh, man. You see what I'm saying? He didn't have social media to help share his contribution to Edison and why we get to have light. I know. You know what I'm saying? Too much is given, much is required. Absolutely. And in the business world, I see why you feel that you're allowing yourself to be a conduit. It's not so much the title, the list of things that you're doing, but it's who you're being. Right. Your serving, exactly. And we just tend to identify with, oh, he's a that, or she's a this, or that. And that a lot of times gets in the way of the course that we're supposed to be on, the race that we're all in. Right. It's the human race. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about what is to come. We're gonna get to this single, successful, and sleepy. Well, I can imagine if you're single these days, you're not going to get too much rest. I would assume that's where that comes from. But because you have successful in the middle, that's pretty interesting, because usually single and sleepy at the end does not usually equate to success. And because who has time for success? Because I'm so busy being single and I'm tired. But you put that success in there, and I think that's apropos for us to have a conversation about. There is a subtitle to that, and it says, a witty and empowering devotional for single professionals. And I would say, having not read this one yet, it's the devotion that allows you to be successful while being single. Right. So tell me a little bit more about that.
This book, book is, someone asked me recently, was it an autobiography?
You finally got his autobiography.
I was like, no. I did take it from my life, though, because I mean, it's when you're pursuing your career, or especially if you're an entrepreneur, you have to invest so much time. You have to invest everything, and a lot of, especially if you have a startup or something like that, it's hard to dedicate time to that and a personal life, especially if you have multiple things going on. So
the concept of work balance or balanced life, that's kind of more of a myth, in the sense that
it is a myth.
If you're going to be all into a relationship, something's going to give. Something is going to give.
Or you have to meet someone who understands.
Yes.
Or who has the same type of life.
Or be real intentional. I heard a great...
a lot of patience.
Yeah. I heard a great prophet. You were talking about prophets earlier. I actually... some people ask who I voted for. I'm not going to say, but I did pencil this person in. They did mention, this person actually talked about how intentional, because of his busy life and productive life, because, productivity is very important. Yeah. Busy, that's where we get business from, but the compartmentalizing or steward over the time and the experiences with, as a husband, he was intentional about making sure there was time, even if he had to schedule it. Yeah, children, I know that might sound crazy. I mean, because, we all have roles.
Absolutely.
And I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm a friend, I'm a business partner, I'm an owner, you know what I'm saying? So these different roles, I can't be all at one time and be effective as I may need. So there has to be focus, there has to be intentionality.
Balance and discipline and everything.
But there has to be purpose, what I found. You have to know your purpose and significance so you can be consistent in who you are.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times we feel we have to change up when we play that role. And you lose yourself in all this changing
up. You lose
up.
a lot of sleep.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. But I mean, the book itself is some people, I think, being single, some people are single by choice.
Yeah.
And others are single by necessity. And that's what I mentioned in the book. You got to decide which one you are. And I really wanted to just share some of my experiences, but encourage people who are working and building their lives, their careers on purpose. And waiting. To get into a relationship. Just to encourage them, to let them know it's okay. You're not alone. And you're not crazy for not jumping into a relationship right now.
And you're not,
because so some people, some even family members, some parents, are always encouraging their kids. You need to get married. You need to do this. You do that. And sometimes you really have to. You have to be ready. A lot of people, get into relationships and marriage
and businesses,
and not ready.
And businesses. Certainly.
It's like, be ready.
That's very important.
Because you end up wasting a lot of time, end up wasting a lot of money. And you're not gonna get either one of those back.
Awesome. So, what's on the horizon? What's exciting that you don't mind sharing now? I mean,
everything is exciting.
This conversation is evergreen, but I know you're doing a little Facebook Live here, so that's going to date it. But and I like that. I like that answer. Everything is exciting. Being present and being in the moment.
Everything is very exciting. Let's see, what's the most exciting thing coming? Well, I can't say that. What can I mention? My first tour, my first speaking and book tour, that's coming up in 2018. That's going to be great.
Awesome.
We're going to do 7 to 12 cities. We're launching. We're going to start with London in March. That's going to be great. That's for the Laws of Networking. Which is coming up. We got 131 countries that are part of that book, so that's going to be beyond historic. And I think that's the most exciting. There's so much more.
That is awesome. I mean, you are a true collaborator, and I really admire that about you because
that's key.
You're a connector, and it's the work that you're doing. And one of the reasons why is because you're involving humanity. You're reaching across
the power of inclusion.
Yes, the power of inclusion. got a friend you have to definitely meet. She writes a book on inclusion. Polly, love you. We're going to get that. We're going to get that interview up real soon. But that inclusion piece, that's a form of respect and love of humanity to consider that. Yeah,
like I told you earlier, you got to have a heart for people.
Yeah. That's awesome.
When you have a heart for people and they know it, they're going to support you. They're going to include you. They're going to promote you. You got to have a heart for people. I mean, I think one of the reasons Dr. King was so successful, and Mother Teresa, and Mandela, and all these phenomenal leaders, they had a heart for not just anybody,
people,
everybody,
everyone,
had a heart
everyone.
For people.
Yeah,
people respond to that realness.
Yeah,
and I'm from some small town. I'm from Albany, Georgia. Yet the entire world is joining me, putting their names on the line, putting their brands on the line. Some of these people are like worth $200-300 million, putting their names on the line, saying, "I will support you because what you're doing is good."
Yeah, and inclusive.
And it's big. It's bigger than you. It's obvious it's not about you.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder, like, wait a minute. I'm so I get lost in the fact that this is way beyond Germaine Moody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember writing this book.
You're so busy being, and we're human beings.
Right.
Not human doings.
Right. And it's like, I was so lucky to start the networking events, and I gained so much knowledge, so much wisdom, and I was the only, they call me a networking event pioneer.
Yes.
Because I was the first one to take networking events on a world tour.
Wow.
It was in 2010. I think we did a 14-city world tour. We hit Canada, the UK. I did about just every major city in America. And we were the first ones to do that. And after that, like 5 billion networking events started breaking out around the world.
Yeah.
So I was at the forefront of that. And I learned so much. And I was like, you know what? We've done this on such a big level. I'm the only person alive that can write a book called The Laws of Networking.
Yeah.
And if I do it, the entire world has to join me.
Yes.
And we had 100, and we started like, the countries, you never know who's going to respond.
Yeah.
So you have no idea.
Throw that net out.
When you send that net out, I'm like, you know what? First of all, I can't release a book that doesn't beat this record.
Yeah.
This record was 106 for 50 Seats of Greatness. But if you're going to write a book about networking, you got to have the whole world join you.
Yeah.
And when we had we got to 105 countries, then it went to 110, and I was like, you know what? I want at least 50%, because it's like 195 countries in the world.
Oh.
I said, I need at least 50% of the world. Like, no, I need 60% of the world. I was like, I need 75% of the world.
Yeah.
And they started coming in back to back. And when we just got 131 countries like 2 weeks ago. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
Because these people are sincere. They believe in it, and they also believe in the power of network. So to have the entire world, I haven't met the majority of these people. I want to, but to have them say, Germaine, this is big. We want to be a part of it, and we want to be a part of this legacy.
Yes.
Because the laws of you got the 48 laws of power. You got the laws of this, the laws of that. But to be able to do the laws of networking, the final word.
Yes.
This is the final word in networking. I don't care who writes a book after this. This is it right here.
I hear you.
The only thing they can do is repeat what I wrote.
There you go. You go. I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely going to be jumping on that bandwagon to help make sure the audience has
the reason I wrote it because I wanted people to be able to use what I use. Everything I've done is through networking.
Yeah.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
The internet.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah. The world is flat, as they say, huh?
You could be in the most
impoverished,
remote situation. If you get on this internet, you can change the world.
Yeah.
And you can figure out a way to create some income and some revenue, and just by networking with people.
And sharing value.
Share value, absolutely.
And being authentic. Well, Germaine Moody, we've made a record on this one, and I really appreciate you. How do we find you?
GermaineMoody.com. GermaineMoody.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, LinkedIn is one of my favorite places in the world.
Yeah.
So I would definitely connect with me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Any telephone numbers you want to shout out so you don't get no more sleep? Yeah. Now we probably pass on the telephone numbers. Yeah. We don't need you as sleepy as you've been.
Yeah.
But Germaine Moody, thank you so much for joining us on Business Authority Radio and living on purpose, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Business Authority Radio with Neil Howe and Greg Williams. To learn more about the resources mentioned in today's show or to listen to past episodes, visit businessauthorityradio.com.